You're a local lad as well. That won't be easy. The distractions of having all that noise. Real Madrid are a hell of an animal. I thought it was insulting to be unfair for Real Madrid. I mean, they behave like that sometimes. They think they can get what they want. But Liverpool are a football club of immense stature. They're never going to sell Trent Alexander-Arnold for 20 million quid to you in January. So you're taking them out a little bit, you know what I mean? You're taking the mickey out of us. So I think that will have probably unnerved him this week. You can imagine his agents, his family all saying, oh, what's happening, Trent? You can imagine that noise going on in his head before this game, which I don't think would have been helpful. I know that footballers, they would have known what was happening. Okay, so you said that out there. Sorry, just to let you know, we were just on a podcast where he said he thinks that Trent's people will have invited the bid from Real Madrid. I think that's quite a big suggestion to make. Personally, what I'm saying is we're not naive enough. These two lads have been involved in transfers. We haven't. But I'm not naive enough to think that Real Madrid would put a bid in January for a player who they can get for nothing in sort of 4 months. Why would Trent's people say put a bid in when they know it's going to be turned down? Do you seriously believe that they don't know nothing about it? So this bid comes in and they're sat at home sitting on Sky Sports. No, I know they know about it, but why would Trent Alexander-Arnold's people think it's a good idea for him, knowing Liverpool are going to say no, because he's getting a lot of criticism for the fact that he might leave for free. Now, if Real Madrid put a bid in January and then Liverpool don't accept it, maybe they can say at the end of the season, well, you were offered 30, 40 million. To me, it was almost to buy a little bit of time at the end of the season if he goes for free, that they can say, well, Liverpool were offered 20, 30 million. It's a lose-lose though, Daniel. Do you think it's realistic? It's a lose-lose either way you go. If you leave for free or if you leave now, it's a lose-lose. Obviously, everyone that's involved in the football club should want him to stay. In these moments when a player is running his contract down, and I've been in this situation when I was at Man City as a young player, when you're in these moments and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I want to stay at the football club. The club clearly known all this time that Trent Alexander-Arnold's contract was running down. We're now going to put it all on Trent and make out as if it's Trent's fault that Real Madrid have put a bid in when his contract has 6 months left. He's one of the best players in the world in this position, as is Mo Salah, as is Virgil van Dijk. Neither of the three of them should be in this predicament. Presumably, Daniel, they've had opportunities to sign a contract at some stage. Dave, we don't know that. We don't know if contracts have been offered and contracts were rejected. Obviously, Jurgen's contract and him coming out last season saying, hey guys, I'm leaving, that was a spanner in the works for everybody. I think the club were at panic stations and we're probably thinking, okay, our priority right now is to find the best manager to replace Jurgen Klopp. We'll put the contracts on the back burner. Maybe we can find, we'll sort the guys out later on. But for me, to leave these three players in a predicament like this, I said that to him up there. The club, obviously, have let these contracts all run down simultaneously, all three together. Three of the best players in the club, probably the most valuable three players in the club. And the problem is with football clubs, because I own a football club, when you've signed a player or you've brought a player through the ranks, it hurts you sometimes when you feel like you've got to pay for the transfer fee again. So do you understand what I mean by that? So Mo Salah now, the economics of Mo Salah is he wants a 3-year deal at £400,000 a week, which is £20 million a year, which is £60 million. But to replace that, if that's what he wants, he probably deserves that and should get it. Because to replace Mo Salah, you probably have to pay £60 to £70 million for a fee and £10 to £15 million a year. So it'll cost you £120 million. And there's no guarantee that player will come in and do what Salah's doing. And for Trent, as being a young player who's come through the ranks at a club, you almost, in some ways, sometimes can get a little bit bullied by the fact that, oh, you've got to sign for us, we brought you through. There's a bit of that as well in the club. I'm not saying Liverpool are doing that, but there is probably another side to the story. All I'm saying is the reason he's been bad out there today can be one of two reasons. Well, three reasons. One, he has had games like that before and he can get done defensively. Secondly, he could just have a bad day. And thirdly, he could have just had all that noise in his head all week and distraction and just not been at it. You talk about him being a top player and we know defensively he's not great. But the manager made the point, you made it clear to him before. He's been left 1 versus 1 and he needs help around it. But at the highest level, the lads have done it. You will be left 1 versus 1. That's practically being a top defender. There will be situations in games where you're pushing and you're pressing and you get an equalizer and you have to deal with 1 versus 1s. So that shouldn't be a big panic for a player. But the thing out here is he's left 1v1 with Dalot. It wasn't Ryan Giggs. Dalot in the first minute of the game, who's been turning back on his right foot and passing it round the way all week, went straight for him. The only thing I would say today about Trent Alexander-Arnold is I wasn't disappointed with his defending. I mean, he didn't defend well, but he's done that before. I thought his pass and his forward play was probably the worst I've seen it. Because if you think about that pass at the end into midfield that obviously United get the goal from, he doesn't normally make so many mistakes on the ball. He's normally a bigger threat with his crossing. So I thought he was disappointed on the ball. You know, it's a contract situation, but I don't understand. There's a lot of negativity and local fans will be having a go at him. But if they don't agree a contract and he leaves, and the amount of games he's played for Liverpool is well over 300, he's won titles. And if Liverpool, why can't everyone show a little bit of class and say, listen, we can't agree a deal, but you're 26, 27. All the best to you. Daniel, is that realistic? No, it can't happen. My kind of club say, well, we can't agree a deal with you. You've given us great service. He's not jumped ship after playing for 2 seasons. What can I say? He's a local lad. But there's a business side to it as well. So you're right, but Liverpool, I mean, take Carragher and Steven Gerrard. Liverpool sort of like, they were in this city. You felt as though they were almost like they couldn't leave. Almost like lads that you knew. Then you have lads, let's say like Michael Owen, who are sort of slightly different. And that they see this journey of going and playing for Real Madrid and playing in different parts of the world.